Hi, it's Miss Melnick here. Boys and girls, welcome to my office. Everybody is doing learning at home, and I wanted to give you a little tour of what my office looks like. I am actually inside of a closet, and my office is this teeny tiny little space. Let me stand up and turn around so that you can see the rest of it. I have posters and just different things that I have collected over the years that make me happy. So when I sit at my desk and I'm talking to you and I'm looking at my computer, this is what I'm actually looking at. This is my desk, my computer, where I have a stand to keep up some of my papers. And if you keep going around, I have a little bulletin board and I have lots of different quotes and things that make me happy. And on the ceiling, I have my sloth collection and just all kinds of really fun things. All of these things make me happy. And I've been using this as my home work office for quite a long time, but it's kind of fun now that you guys all get to work at home too, so that you can see what it is that we're doing. So I'm going to turn the camera around so that you can see my book. Okay, here we go. So this is a book. It's called Let's Have a Store. And it was one of my favorite books when I was a little girl, but I think it was also my mom's book. It was written in 1945, and that's a very, very long time ago. No, I was not born in 1945, but my mom was born a little bit before that, and she is 80 something years old. So I think this was her book when she was a little girl. And one of the ways that I like to read this book is just because it's so fun and old and interesting. It was old when I was a little girl, and now it's even older now that I'm not a little girl. And as you can see, this book has been held back together with tape, and it's got this special little spots on the corners where it says lift the flap here. And like I said, it was made in 1945, so this is a very, very old book. And I'm going to read it to you. It starts off by saying, one day, Peggy and Dan saw an empty building on the street where they lived. They went in, and all of a sudden, Peggy said, let's have a store. First, we'll need shelves full of canned peaches and peanut butter and cookies and sausages and salt and spaghetti, said Dan. Now watch what happens when I turn the page. Remember, you got to turn it from this side up. It adds on to the store. The shelves were packed full of things, and there was a box full of pop besides. But nobody came to buy anything. Maybe they don't know it's really a store, said Peggy. I guess we need a counter and a cash register. So they got a counter and a cash register, and they also bought a box of apples. But nobody came to buy anything. Perhaps we need a sign in the window with our names on it, said Dan. And some things that people can stop and look at, said Peggy. The sign said, Store, Peggy and Dan, as plain as anything. But nobody came to buy. A store ought to have some tools for sale, said Dan. We must have hammers and saws and pitchforks. The tools were all bright and shiny by the window. And they also had brooms and a keg of nails. But still, nobody came to buy anything. Maybe we need clothes to sell, said Peggy. Lots of hats and shoes. And some overalls and red mittens, said Dan. The clothes looked very fine, and one hat had a wonderful green feather in it. But still, nobody came to buy anything. I'll bet somebody would buy a watermelon or bananas or plums, said Dan. The watermelon was as big as a dishpan, and the plums were very squashy. But still, nobody came to buy anything. If we had toys, I know everyone would come, said Dan. They had a tricycle and a teddy bear and dolls and skates and blocks, but still nobody came to buy anything. I know, said Peggy. We need ice cream cones and candy. They had candy and double-sized ice cream cones and chocolate marshmallow fudge nut sundaes. And what do you think happened? Turn the page and you will see. Boys and girls, what do you think is going to happen? I wonder. You were right. Everybody came. Now, boys and girls, I'm sharing this story with you. This is one of my favorite books from when I was a little girl. Like I said, I think it was a book from when my mom was a little girl. I want to know what's one of your favorite stories from when you were younger, or one of your favorite stories that you have right now. If you can, please post a link to that. Good night.